Welcome to an all-new episode of Hearthstone Hypotheticals, a show where I pretty much ask some kind of Hearthstone question to my Twitter, and we get to see what the Hearthstone community thinks about a particular topic. Today's topic is, what is the coolest combo in Hearthstone? Go on, make me proud. Best and funny combos will be featured in a future video, and pretty much what I want to do here is to see what kind of combos does the Hearthstone community like to do. Is it just tempo turns, or is there like a full OTK or some kind of win condition that a lot of people on my Twitter like to take advantage of? So let's go ahead and dive into the coolest Hearthstone combos in the game, according to my Twitter, of course. But before we get into today's video, I just want to give everyone a quick reminder that I am doing a giveaway until the 21st of July for you guys to get a free Mega Bundle. The links will be down below for you guys to see exactly how you can enter, but all you have to do is just like and retweet a Twitter post and be subscribed to the YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed, now would be the perfect time in order to hit that button so that way you guys can be entered in the giveaway. But remember, you also have to like and retweet the Twitter post so that way I know where to pick the winners from, because the winners are going to be picked from those Twitter posts, and then I will check my YouTube subs to make sure that that person is subscribing. But regardless, if you want to get you guys a possibility of getting a mega bundle, feel free to check the description below for those links. So the first combo that we're going to be talking about is coming from Pheno, and he's talking about coin Eagle into Eagle for the culture. And I'm not really sure if he's talking about a combo win condition, but what I believe he's referencing is Rise Winds, where it was a twin spell where you could either draw a card or summon a 3-2. And a lot of the times, people really didn't summon the 3-2, so I'm assuming that's what this joke is about. Because every now and again, like if you had coin, if you played the 3-2 into another 3-2, you as a Druid could actually deal with some early tempo and aggression coming from your opponent, since you actually have minions to trade with. And if you're playing the old token deck that actually used to also the spell token version of this deck, then you still had Glowfly Swarm. So this is actually a pretty good combo in order to keep you alive, so that way token Druid can do what it does and storm the board without, you know, actually dying. But I'm assuming that's what Pheno means, but let's go ahead and get into some combos that actually kill your opponent. Ulticon is talking about a lot of different wild cards here, and honestly, Ulticon is somebody that does a lot of insane OTKs, even more insane than the beloved Mark McKayZ. You can go ahead and tell him that I told you that, because Mark actually takes Ulticon's combos for some of his videos, giving him credit, of course. But regardless, Ulticon has some insane, wacky combos, and they almost always use Emperor Thaurissan, Zola the Gorgon, Prince Taldaram, and Drakari Enchanter. And honestly, this is one that I like to use a ton for my combos, and it's something that I've used for my Highkeeper Rock combos. But going through each one of these individually, Emperor Thaurissan is the combo card, obviously. If you are even remotely interested in doing a combo deck or have played one in the past, you have most likely played Emperor in your deck, because being able to cut cards' mana costs is absolutely broken, especially when you have a card that has like a 3-4 card combo, because then that's 4 mana off that combo, so it's really easy to try and set up some unique things that nobody has ever seen. Zola the Gorgon, obviously really good at giving you double copies, and if you're doing a combo with legendary minions, it can sometimes become very important. In fact, one of my favorite combos that I've ever done is an Infinite Elise combo, but the way that I am able to get the Elises is that, I mean, you need 2 of them in order to start an infinite chain, so I play Elise into Brann Zola in order to make that possible, or if you just Elise into double Zola, that also works. Next up, Prince Taldaram. This is a card I don't really use a whole bunch for my combos, because I have a lot of 3-drops. Mostly Druid cards have like armor up capabilities at this mana cost, but Prince Taldaram is a good way of being able to get copies of Death Rattle minions that do something specific, or if you do something with Cube. Cube is actually a hilarious application with Prince Taldaram that I have taken advantage of a few times. But other than that, Prince Taldaram really is kind of specific and doesn't really get played unless you're using him as a 3-mana faceless when you've completely decked out. Then last but not least, obviously Drakari Enchanter. Just being able to double your end of turn effects works really well with Thaurissan. There's one particular combo that I can think of where you want to play Drakari Enchanter into Thaurissan, so that way every single class has a standard version, a wild version of a Rod of Roasting combo. It only works 5% of the time, but Drakari Enchanter working with Emperor Thaurissan in order to discount Yogg, Death Speaker, and Violet Illusionist works perfectly in case you've already played 10 spells. So every single class does technically have a 5% Rod of Roasting lethal if they wanted to play Drakari Enchanter into Emperor Thaurissan. But those are just some of the combos that these cards enable. There's so many ways that these can be taken advantage of. And if you guys are looking for a combo, these 4 cards I would say is a great place to start looking. Koba, the Shaman Extraordinaire, showing us even more Shaman cards that are absolutely busted when it comes to playing combo. You should also add Lightning Bloom because it's a mandatory piece of the combo, but you want to play Tour Guide to play it earlier. And you can play Zola if you want to go infinite. And pretty much you want to play Corrupt the Waters in order to double up your battle cries. You can reduce the cost of your elementals, deal damage with this elemental, and then play Grumble in order to get an infinite chain going. And something that's pretty funny about Grumble is if you play Grumble into Grumble, you just have this infinite combo of 1-mana cards for your turn, of course. Like, you do have to deal with hand size, and you have to, unfortunately, have a Grumble on the field unless you happen to play Zola while doing this. But, like, Grumble is just an absolute monster when it comes to Shaman combos. He's the main reason, I would say, that Shudderwock is able to do what Shudderwock does. And, like, yeah, it does have an insane ability to where it doubles all the battle cries, but if Grumble didn't make Shudderwock cost 1, it would not nearly be as powerful. And Kopa's trying to show us a combo where Cumulo-Maximus is actually the card that we use instead of Shudderwock, so that way you can just hit this in the face, play Grumble, hit them in the face, play Grumble, and you can actually do that 5 times, but if you're doubling your hero power, then you can do that a ton. You can do a bunch of damage with that. If you play 5 of them and you double that twice, that's already 50 damage. But regardless, I think that this is a great combo. It's not the best combo, probably not the coolest combo in Shaman, but it's not every day that you get to see Cumulo-Maximus getting lethal with this card as well, the Fire Plume Harbinger. These are just cards that don't get a lot of highlights, so I'm going to go ahead and give Kopa the cool point here because this is actually not a combo that I've ever thought of. This next one is going to make a lot of standard players happy, but it's just turn 1 Gibberling, end turn. I think this is the biggest combo on how to give your opponent a free win if you're playing Token Druid. So I really don't know how else to describe this one here outside of just I'm confused. Why would anybody ever do this and think it's the right play? There's no way that as a Token Druid you're going to play Gibberling on turn 1 and do nothing with it. And then your opponent is just always going to clear it. If they have anything, literally anything, coin hero power even, to get rid of the Gibberling, they are going to do that because why wouldn't you get rid of the best card in the Token Druid deck? So, was a little bit confused by this one, but I'm pretty sure Meaty's trying to go for some sort of funny reply here because Token Druid is such a, well, let's just say interactive deck, I guess? Yeah, not really. Koba is actually suggesting another combo and has nothing to do with Shaman cards. His second candidate is a combo that looks like Naturalize into Astral Tiger. It's the Death Rattle that shovels a copy of this minion into your deck, and if you get that Death Rattle on an Undatakah, then Undatakah can put itself into your deck every single time that it dies. And even more importantly, if you have a Hydronox equipped onto that Undatakah, then literally you have a combo enabled to where you can play Undatakah, kill it off, it'll go into your deck, and you summon an entire board full of taunt minions, and then every single time you get your Undatakah, you get to do that yet again. So you pretty much have a quote-unquote infinite board refill, and if you're playing taunt minions, then your opponent's gonna have a really hard time being able to, get through the wall and, hit you in the face. But Hydronox into Undatakah is something that is just way too slow and has a lot of setup. It is extremely cool if you're able to do it, but unfortunately, Undatakah is just one of those cards to where not only do you need to run him, an 8-mana 5/3, but you also need to run 3 Death Rattles that are either kind of underwhelming or just synergize really well in your deck, but still, like, Death Rattle Druid isn't getting anywhere right now. But it's still a cool combo nonetheless. I would like to see this going into some wild meme games if at all possible, but it's not every day that everyone's going to play Undatakah Druid. Petros Man is talking about the fiery finish of a Ragnaros combo Druid, where you cube a Ragnaros, faceless the cubes twice, pop the cubes with Deathwing, and it's a very beautiful combo to look at and quite cool. It's the absolute definition of Inferno Blaze, in my opinion, because you're literally summoning a win con that kills your opponent with fire, and then you use Deathwing, not necessarily fire dragon, but likes to destroy everything in flames, so that way you can unleash your fiery win con. But this is actually a combo I used to play a decent amount, and the only reason why I stopped playing it was because there's a lot of other really, really cool combo Druid decks out there, and this is just one of the many examples that are available to it, because you could also do something like Bob is suggesting with Leroy. You could literally put almost any kind of win con card in your deck, Dinosaur, Ragnaros, freaking Leroy, most things that just have ways of being able to deal damage one way or another, and then you just cube them a whole bunch of times and have Deathwing kill the entire board, so that way you can go face no problem even if your opponent has taunts. It's a very, very cool combo. I would highly suggest it if you're looking for a cool Druid deck in order to get some ideas brewing in your combo brain. But Druid is just probably the combo class. They have lots of ways of being able to cheat mana, and now they have Celestial Alignment. And I'll tell you right now, I've done like at least 10 different OTKs enabling Celestial Alignment memes. So if you want something to do that's hilarious and pretty cool in Hearthstone, this combo Druid with Deathwing and Ragnaros is probably going to be a good first step for you. Jason is suggesting the Necrium Apothecary combo with Necrium Blade. So if you guys aren't familiar with how this combo works, there's a lot of different massive swings that you can enable with this kind of combo, but essentially the way that it works is on turn 4 or turn 5, you play Necrium Apothecary with a combo while already having your Necrium Blade equipped. You swing on it on turn 3, turn 4, and then the turn that you play your Necrium Apothecary, you swing it again, and you have a Death Rattle that you can take advantage of. In this particular case, we're using Deathwing Dragonlord, because if you have a bunch of dragons in your hand, and they just all storm the field, and if your opponent doesn't have a way of clearing, they are probably going to die. And if you guys have been following Hearthstone for a while, you knew how broken this card was when it was first released in the Descent of Dragons expansion, because not only was this really, really common and wild, but Standard at the time had a combo where you played a 9-mana 9/7 called Anubisath Defender, or Anubisath Warbringer, that was the name. Anubisath Warbringer. It was a 9-mana 9/7 that gave your entire hand +3/+3, and if you were to use this with Necrium Apothecary, you can make cards like Stone Tusk Boar and other little charge minions deal a whole bunch of damage very, very quickly, and it was the reason why Necrium Apothecary was nerfed to 5 mana for a time, but now that he's back into Wild, they decided to change it back to 4 mana. But this combo is a really, really amazing use of your dragons if you have a bunch of legendary dragons that you've never played before, because it doesn't really matter how bad their ability is. If you cheat them out on turn 4, your opponent's going to actually have no way of clearing them unless they're a warrior and they play Brawl or something. But if you're looking for a rogue combo that completely blows your opponent out of the water with gigantic dragons, this is a combo for you. Matcha Dogs is talking about the Alex Tenwu version of Miracle Rogue. It's a great idea for that kind of combo, because this is just another way that Miracle Rogue can deal damage in large amounts throughout the entire phase of the game. But if you want my honest opinion, I think the Scabs version of the deck is a lot more fun, because it challenges you in order to pop off this combo all in one turn. So if you're not familiar with the Scabs combo, I'm not going to go too much into detail, because it's a very, very interesting combo, at least in Standard, but the goal of the deck is essentially to use Scab's Cutter Butter to cheat out Alex Straza with Tenwu, and you can Shadowstep Tenwu in order to give your Alex a ton of 1-mana plays. And you have to play Alex at least 4 times, and you can't double it up since you don't have cards like Brann, Bronzebeard, or the Shark. But yeah, it's a really, really cool combo, and I think it's going to be the reason why a lot of people are going to continue to play Rogue. Miracle Rogue is just an archetype that is just extremely efficient. I don't really see it being I don't really see it going anywhere unless they print a lot of aggro tools to where Rogue just can't keep up, and suddenly they just, they don't have the turns enabled to do their insane field contact turns or anything with like Pinflinger, Battle Cries, that kind of thing. But Alex Tenwu, I don't think is going to be going anywhere in Rogue for the next couple expansions, because why wouldn't you want to deal 16 damage very, very easily? Because you have cards like Octobot that discount these cards. That's another big thing about this deck, is that mana really isn't an issue. And well, if you get Octobot on these 2 cards, you're probably going to win a lot of the time. This next card is a card that makes its way into every single video, and I'm very confused that Bobby Dabs, the guy himself that hates Mindrender Illucia, is saying that the coolest combo in Hearthstone is the Mindrender Illucia OTK with my opponent's cards. Even though it might be nice in order for a priest to finally be able to overcome the dreaded combo decks, I can't believe that someone like Dabs is saying that this is the coolest combo in all of Hearthstone. I don't believe this at all, man. All this does is make me want to stop playing combo decks. So therefore, if you think about it, Illucia is the absolute antithesis of combo decks. So like, I can't support this one, Dabs, and I'm very surprised to see you, of all people, suggest Mindrender Illucia as the coolest combo in Hearthstone. Blech. Joe's Tall Star is talking about, for me personally, it was Mecha'thun Druid when Disguised Toast was playing his 3-5 WinCon Druid with Aviana, Kun, Mecha'thun, Cthulhu, Malygos, and etc. And I actually couldn't 100% remember what was in this deck, so I had to look up the Disguised Toast video, and it does in fact run a lot of these cards, but one of the cards it does not run is Aviana. And I'm not sure if this was after the nerf that was taken to the card, because Juicy Psych Melon was printed and pretty much made Aviana a amazing card, because you just had the Aviana Kun combo that was easily poppable like that. All you need to do is just go to 9 mana and have Innervate, or just 10 mana, and you could do whatever combo that you wanted. Since Aviana was 9, your Kun would be 1, and he would refresh your mana crystals, and all of your cards would cost 1 mana afterwards. But the WinCon cards that you use are Mecha'thun, Malygos, and King Togwaggle. You also have cards like Dream Petal Florist in order to give you the mana discounts that you need in order to do one of these insane pop-off turns. But you also had a Phlebinus Floop. So you had lots of different ways of being able to steal your opponent's deck back, even if they were to play the ransom card. But this Druid deck was something that I think only someone like Disguised Toast could pilot. And the funny thing about this deck is that it actually doesn't even run Aviana now that I'm looking at it. It runs just the Malygos as the 9 mana card. And I think that's mostly due to the fact because Dream Petal Florist is in the deck. But if you want my honest opinion, this deck is probably going to be better if you put the Aviana in the deck, because you still have Innervate and you just want to be able to do those kind of Kun combos. But regardless, this deck was really, really fun. I would highly suggest it if you're looking for a really, really weird Cthulhu combo Druid to play. And Disguised Toast was an amazing deck builder at the time. It's going to have to stand up to the test of time, but combo Druid decks are definitely where it's at in Hearthstone. Lil Nenko is talking about Lightwarden into Healing Rain. For those of you guys who don't know what these cards are, Lightwarden is a 1-mana, 1/2 neutral minion where whenever you heal something, it could be a minion, it could be a hero, it could be literally anything, it gains +2 attack. And if you have Healing Rain, a card that essentially heals 13 split damage across your board, then you can essentially give your Lightwarden +26 attack all in one turn. It's not exactly an OTK, but there are ways to be able to set up an OTK, especially if you have a second Healing Rain, or if you have other ways of being able to heal your face with like Witch's Brew or something in Shaman. It has to be a Shaman card because that's what kind of card Healing Rain is. But the Lightwarden combo is definitely something that has gone under the radar for a little bit, and especially at the beginning of Hearthstone's history, but now just doesn't have the power to do what it used to. But it still is hilarious nonetheless, because it's nothing like killing your opponent with a over 20 attack 1-drop. Somebody else is talking about Mindrender Illucia, but this time we've got a little bit of some direction here, because this is the combo that absolutely makes me hate Mindrender all the time. This is what does it. This is what pushes it over the edge for me, and it's the Shadowstep interaction if you play Mindrender Illucia against a rogue. It's absolutely toxic to have to deal with this, because literally what'll happen is you play your Mindrender, and you don't even have to play Secret Passage. Secret Passage is just a card you would play in order to deny your opponent any chance of being able to find cards. But if you do find Shadowstep, after you played your Mindrender, you get to Shadowstep that Mindrender. It'll be 1 mana, so that way after you played the rest of your opponent's cards, you literally get to play Mindrender again and give them that empty hand. So you've swapped your hands and decks twice, so your opponent gets to play with their cards, but here's the thing, there's no cards left over because you played them all with Mindrender Illucia. And then when their turn ends, the decks do a double flip, and your opponent as the priest gets their deck back again, and it's just like, wow, what the actual hell just happened? I never want to see this combo ever again, because as a rogue, there's literally nothing that you can do, because your opponent effectively takes all of your cards, skips your turn, and then hits you again after they skip your turn. I absolutely hate Mindrender Illucia for this specific exact combo, because good lord, I cannot take it when it literally is the reason why somebody just auto wins a game, and it's not even like you're denying my combo. You're just playing literally every single one of my cards, and I'm a rogue that has a bunch of cheap cards, so that makes sense. I do not like Mindrender Illucia. This is the exact combo that makes me hate it, and if this ever happens to me live on stream, I immediately concede. Like, I'm not even joking. I immediately concede the moment that happens. Jiminator is talking about Anka the Buried and Teron Gorefiend, or with Malygos and ticket effects. I don't really know what he's talking about with the Malygos ticket effects. I don't think there's any tickets that deal damage. So Jiminator is a rogue main that does a lot of really goofy stuff. His favorite card is Anka the Buried, which is a 5-mana 5/5 that makes all of your Death Rattles cost 1 mana. And Teron Gorefiend is a 3 mana 3/4. Battle Cry, destroy all of the minions on the field, while its Death Rattle is resummon them with +1/+1. I think that Teron Gorefiend is actually a really awesome card, and I've used him in a lot of different OTKs with dinosaurs before. But with Anka, that might be a really funny way of being able to give yourself a lot of tempo, because if you have a bunch of oh yeah, so one thing I forgot to mention is that Anka makes all of your cards 1/1s as well. So literally something that's actually really cool here, if you play your Anka into all of your Death Rattle minions into Teron, and you kill the Teron, then they're going to come back with their original stats, but +1/+1. So that's actually a really cool combo that I've never thought of until literally just this moment. So Jiminator, I might be playing some Rogue here pretty soon to see what I can pull off with this Anka Teron combo. But the Malygos ticket combo, I'm not really that familiar with. I'm not sure if there's a card in your deck that deals damage when you draw it, and that could work with Malygos, but... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so something he might be talking about is the Malygos interaction with that one card that has, like, shadows and stuff like that, to where, you know, you make a whole bunch of Malygoses. I don't really know if I'm describing this correctly, because I don't know what the ticket effects are. But if you want my honest opinion or my first guess, I'm assuming you want to do something with Malygos to where you jam a whole bunch of them on the field and then just play like 1 or 2 spells to win the game. But either way, the Death Rattle Rogue synergies look really, really real, and I'm actually looking forward to building that kind of deck here once I'm done with this video. Dude Man is talking about his favorite combination in life, and that is marijuana and Miracle Druid. Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know what Miracle Druid is, it's literally an archetype that's all about playing your cards as fast as possible, drawing everything, and try to accomplish some sort of combo, whether that be Mechathune, whether that be the standard Celestial Alignment version with Cthulhu and with Cenarian Wards, and sometimes even Yogg-Saron. Like, there's a lot of really, really cool ways of being able to play Miracle Druid, and, well, apparently Dude Man is talking about making yourself feel good while also playing a good deck. But I would actually not suggest playing Miracle Druid under the influence of anything like that, because it gets a little bit difficult and you need every single second you have available to you. So if you're able to do this kind of combination and play the deck successfully, then I think that just proves how good of a Hearthstone player you are, because you're literally not really dulling your senses, but you're kind of making it a little bit harder for you to think properly. But Miracle Druid is a really fun archetype, so 2 things of fun seems like a good idea to me. El Tinho is talking about one of the best Paladin combos ever. How could I answer anything other than Prismatic Lens into Tip the Scales? This is actually one of the most toxic Paladin decks that I can think of, and if people ever talk about how bad Paladin is in Standard, just show them this combo and show that you can literally die on turn 4 if everything goes well. So, Anyfin Paladin, one of my favorite archetypes that has ever emerged, but Anyfin can happen, gets kind of overshadowed by Tip the Scales if you have all the minions in your deck. Literally what you can do is, if you have 2 Grimscale Oracles, 2 Murloc War Leaders, both of your Bluegill Warriors, and your old Murk-Eye, then you can literally set up a 30 damage OTK by just playing Tip the Scales, because all those cards are going to buff each other to where your charge minions are going to deal exactly 30. But with that in mind, it makes this combo a little bit inconsistent the moment that you draw it, and unfortunately with Prismatic Lens you have to draw a minion with Tip the Scales, but there's so many cards that you can put into your deck, like little 1-drops for example, to where the best combo that you can do is turn 4, you play Coin into Prismatic Lens, you hit Tip the Scales into a 1-drop that is not a Murloc, you have no Murlocs in hand, nothing on the field, you play it on turn 4, and you literally win the game. Pretty cool combo, right? The really big challenge of this deck, though, is when you don't get the combo and you do end up hitting, like, Tip the Scales into a Murloc, and now suddenly that Murloc is 8 mana, so you do have to rely on the Anyfin can happen. So this deck is really, really cool. I'll try to leave a deck code down below if anybody really wants to play this particular archetype, because I have a lot of fun with it. It's very toxic as well. But I would say that it's at least an interesting combo deck, and it gives me a reason to play Murlocs and Paladin, and this is just another way of being able to build the deck. This is a hyper aggro combo version of the deck versus my original version of the deck, which was like an aggressive mid-range deck that also had the possibility of being able to combo. But Prismatic Lens is one of my favorite Paladin cards. Tip the Scales brings back a lot of bad memories with people, but if you really want to show the power level of this card to somebody who's not expecting it, kill them on turn 4 with it, and they might change their mind about this card being not so frustrating, right? Saba is talking about the good old-fashioned Brann into Jan'alai combo with Drakari Enchanter. Drakari Enchanter making a full circle around because guess what? It's using a lot of combo decks. Might be outdated, but Jan'alai is a card that was released in Rastikon's Rumble, and if you had dealt 8 damage, I think, with your hero power, you could summon Ragnaros. And yeah, Ragnaros being able to be pulled twice out of the Brann effect, and then Drakari Enchanter giving the Ragnaros double effects. Easy way of dealing 32 damage to the face if your opponent has absolutely nothing. The only issue with this deck is that it requires a lot of build-up and a lot of setup, and you really can't cheat it out one way or another, so you have to be able to get a Emperor discount on your Brann, your Jan'alai, and your Drakari Enchanter. And then you also need to have an empty board in order for this to work. So it's a pretty difficult combo deck, but it's still a cool one nonetheless. Very, very hot if you want my honest opinion. But giving Jan'alai any kind of playability is definitely cool because the card unfortunately did not really see a lot of play. Hero Power Mage just kind of didn't get a lot of support. And even with this new wave of Hero Power cards, Jan'alai still does not see play in Wild. So it makes me wonder if there's any way that card can maybe be played. Yada is probably talking about one of the most toxic combos that's ever existed in the game, but the Tiller, Death Speaker, and OG Hysteria combo. This was a combo that absolutely broke Wild in 2 different classes, because you could technically do this in Priest, but it was really, really consistent to do this in Warlock. So all you had to do was play your Tiller. He is a 1-mana 1/1, I believe, that every single time he attacks face, he deals 2 or 3 damage. Death Speaker, you can give it to the Tiller, so that way he is immune, so that way every single time that Tiller attacks, he deals damage to the face. Not every single time he hits face. But once you give him immune and you play the old version of Hysteria, which you could use on your own minions, it would literally send Tiller into a frenzy to where if you had 15 HP on the field, you were playing it into an OTK. Because if Tiller could attack 15 times as immune, and it only had 1 attack, so if there's 15 health, it's really, really easy in order for Tiller to just straight up kill your opponent. Well, the worst thing about this combo is after Tiller killed you, the animation still had to resolve itself, so unfortunately Tiller had to attack a total of 30 times in order for the animation to be done so you can quit the game. But yeah, this was definitely a toxic combo. It was really cool when it first came out. A lot of people were like, oh my god, is this combo actually a meta breaker? And well, yeah, it kind of was, and it literally needed to be changed to the point where Hysteria not only got a mana nerf, but also got a card effect change to where you can't target your own minions now, so Priest can't literally use like a big minion to clear the entire board, that kind of thing. So you have to use it on your opponent's minions, which I agree does make a lot more sense in terms of balance. But if you want my honest opinion, I feel like Tiller maybe should have been changed a little bit, or maybe its interaction with being able to attack with things, but this was the decision that they made. I really don't know if there was a better way of being able to make this combo less toxic, because Hysteria is not only a problem in this deck, but it's also a problem in Priest. So I think that the Tiller combo was not healthy for Hearthstone. I'm glad that they got rid of it, and if something like this ever emerges again, they definitely need to deal with it. Daegoon is going with a pretty epic Priest OTK that a lot of people probably won't see in their lifetime, but it is Spirit Singer Umbra into Baron Rivendare, so 2 cards that work really, really well with Death Rattles. You can play Akanai Phantasm, which I believe is the 2-mana spell that makes all of your healing deal damage, and then you can play Zombie Chow into Zombie Chow. Their effects will trigger twice, so that way you heal your opponent 10 twice when you first play the Zombie Chows, and then you can play Circle of Healing, which will kill the Zombie Chows. It'll also kill the Umbra, but the Baron Rivendare will survive, so that way you still deal another 20 damage because of the Zombie Chows interaction with Phantasm and with Baron Rivendare. Unfortunately, this is a combo that takes a lot of pieces and really isn't that consistent in Wild, but it's still a cool combo because we don't get to see Priest use a lot of their Shadow Priest capabilities, and maybe we'll get a lot more cards like that in the new Stormwind expansion, but for right now, Shadow Priest is very limited in what it can do unless you're talking about Shadow Reaper Anduin, which I don't include as a Shadow Priest. I consider that a Death Knight. It's a very, very different class of Shadow Priest, to say the least. But this is a cool combo nonetheless. It utilizes Spirit Singer Umbra, which for you combo players should definitely be aware of this card's existence, because there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Death Rattles. Zombie Chow is not a card that really gets a lot of play, and Baron Rivendare, since it went to Standard, I have not seen this card seen play in any deck. I was about to say in almost any deck, but I have not seen this card be played literally at all since it was put into the standard rotation. But still a really, really cool combo. If you're looking for something for Priest that's a little bit out of the normal, this is definitely a deck for you. And Zombie Chow, dude, what a great way to full circle around to a great card that you used to always see play in Hearthstone. This next one might be the most controversial pick that we have outside of my own personal opinions, Mindrender Illucia, but it's yet another Priest combo. Ridiculous Hat is saying Samuro into Apotheosis is the coolest combo in Hearthstone, and I'm not sure if I can get on this fence. It is definitely a cool animation. It's really nice how the Priest is able to fully heal themselves back to full life. You notice how I have to bite my tongue a little bit about that phrase, but Jason exactly has this. Literally, some men just want to watch the world burn, and I feel like Ridiculous Hat is somebody that enjoys to watch the world burn as long as Samuro is giving him the health that he so desperately needs. I think this is a great way for Priest to have, like, not necessarily like a Reno Jackson effect, but something to where they can have a massive amount of healing with not that many cards that also does some kind of really, really effective play for you. And in this case, the play is clearing the board. Priest needs a lot of way of being able to clear the board in order to keep itself ahead. And sadly, there's a lot of times when they fall behind. So maybe that's what Ridiculous Hat is talking about. He doesn't want Priest to just fall to the wayside compared to like the aggro decks and the hunters that exist in the meta. Or more commonly, the Shamans, because Shamans actually counter Priest to a effective degree. It's not an automatic counter, but it's still a somewhat more favored matchup, I would believe, more times than not, like a 55-45. But Samuro into Apotheosis is a cool animation. I can't get behind on it being the coolest combo in Hearthstone, so Ridiculous Hat, if you're watching this video, I think I might need a little bit of clarification because I need to know where exactly this is coming from. Some of my favorite replies have come from Steven Georgiou, who again is the father of not only one game designer, but now 2 game designers for Hearthstone, because Cora's brother actually just got signed on to the team within this past week. So huge congratulations not only to them, but to Steven for creating 2 of Hearthstone's game designers. That's a meme that he's been talking about on his Twitter. But going back to the combo, this combo has won me so many matches in the past, playing Wild Pyromancer into Muster for a Battle, and then you confuse your opponent because they will concede because they don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do after your opponent plays Pyro into Muster for Battle. I think you just are supposed to concede in order to be a good-mannered opponent and be like, look, I know you probably didn't read your cards, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the benefit of the doubt and give you another mulligan, so that way you can actually perform this combo the way that it's supposed to. But Pyromancer shenanigans have definitely been something that have plagued Hearthstone players for quite some time. The card's had a few reworks for when the specific ability starts to trigger. But the thing about Wild Pyro is that it will always be a Hearthstone classic. I think that Priest might be able to take advantage of this card, and if it's actually not in the classic rotation like I think it is, then just go ahead and ignore that comment. But Wild Pyromancer is a card that has always found its way into Hearthstone one way or another, whether that be with really, really broken combos, or in this case, combos that will probably make you concede if you do them. So huge shout out to Steven for always making me laugh with these hilarious replies. Josh is talking about shuffling a whole bunch of patches into the deck. You play Cannon, and then you play a Pirate, and then you play Cannon's Barrage. So essentially what he's trying to do here is create a 4th of July Rogue, which is really, really thematic because 4th of July is tomorrow. But pretty much what the deck is, you have a bunch of patches in your deck. Let's just say you shuffle 6 into your deck just for the sake of the example, or 5 in your deck because you need a Pirate. So you play the ship. I'm sorry, you play the Cannon, you play the Pirate, the Cannon already deals 1, and then 5 patches will be pulled out of your deck in order to deal 10 damage, and then Cannon's Barrage is a card that deals 3 damage for every single pirate that you, I'm sorry, it deals 3 damage, and then it repeats for every single pirate that you have. So you've already had 10 damage, and now you have 6 pirates on the field with a 3-mana card that already deals 3 plus the additional 6 triggers, so that is 7 triggers to deal a 31 damage OTK with nothing but pirates. It's really hard to do this kind of combo, though, because you have to be able to put patches into your deck. And the moment that you play a pirate, patches is going to show his ugly face. So you either need to draw patches naturally and then shuffle cards into your deck, or you need to just get unlucky and have your patches die, and then you don't even get to do the combo. But this is a really, really interesting creative response that I don't know if I'm going to be able to have time to do this for 4th of July, because I'm literally recording this, going to a gig, and then I have a 4th of July party planned for tomorrow, so I don't think I'm going to have like time to kind of do that. But this is a cool combo if you guys want to celebrate Independence Day with a bunch of pirates in the rogue class. And the last combo that we're going to go over today is going to be And the last combo that we're going over today is coming from Stormcrow. He's saying the Coin Concede combo. And literally, this combo is so iconic that it started a podcast called Coin Concede. And honestly, they're one of the best Hearthstone podcasts out there. So if you guys are looking for some podcast content, I would definitely check them out. Ridiculous Hat is also involved with them. So if you enjoy his content, you will definitely enjoy what Coin Concede has to offer. But there's been so many times where you see an opponent play coin when they weren't supposed to. You see a coin prep turn, or prep coin, I mean. And there's just so many ways to shame Concede in Hearthstone to where you can't see it as like, I mean, you can't unsee it as a combo. So it's like Coin Concede, nice combo, I won the game. It's literally a game-winning combo for me, so I love it when my opponents do it. But it's an absolute Hearthstone classic. It felt wrong to not include this particular combo in the deck because, let's be honest, you've at least seen this particular combo win you a game at least once. And I have to apologize to you guys because I didn't do Zeddy justice because he also decided to put in the Prep Coin Concede combo. So there was a lot of people that agreed with this take. And like I said, it's the most iconic combo in all of Hearthstone. So it felt wrong to not include this in the video. And Zeddy always happens to have not only some of the most hilarious replies, but some of the most popular replies because a lot of people agree with these takes. Because let's be honest, this is a iconic combo that cannot be refuted. Whether or not it's the coolest, not necessarily what's up in debate in this particular post. It's definitely hilarious, and it's cool that you get a free win every now and again. So that's how I'm going to tie it into today's video of cool combos. But Zeddy definitely hit it on the nail along with Stormcrow. Prep Coin Concede is probably got to be the most iconic combo in all of Hearthstone. So this begs the question, what does Clark believe is the coolest combo in all of Hearthstone? And as a combo player, I feel like there's a heavy light on me in order to get this right. My opinion is not going to be something that a lot of people agree with, but I love Celestial Alignment. Celestial Alignment is my favorite card, and my favorite combo deck to put it in is a Mecha'thun APM deck. I absolutely love decks that push me to my limit to where I don't have even a second to think about my turns. I just have to do the actions and I have to play the cards. Otherwise, I literally won't have enough time to do my combo. And well, now that Lady Anaconda is a thing, it's really easy for me to be able to pull off a combo where I play Celestial Alignment and then I get to play my entire deck outright and then pull off a Mecha'thun combo. Because if you guys are wondering how exactly we do it, Mecha'thun into Naturalize is the way that we pop off this combo. It's Mecha'thun into Poison Seeds. That is how you're able to kill off all of your minions to where if you have no cards in your hand or deck, you don't have to worry about the field because Poison Seeds will clear it for you. But the other thing to keep in mind with this combo is you have to take a lot of fatigue, and I put in Violet Illusionist in order to play Violet Illusionist into all of my draw cards, so that way fatigue doesn't kill me because I literally need to deck out and play every single one of my cards. I think it's one of the coolest Hearthstone decks that has ever existed for OTK players to take advantage of. It's not going to be consistent, so the ranked players don't have to worry about it completely destroying their competitive experience, and it allows players like me to do the cool thing that I want to do in Hearthstone, and that's just play a whole bunch of cards all at once. I think that Mecha'thun Alignment Druid is the coolest deck to ever exist in Hearthstone. I'm going to go ahead and put the deck list here so you guys are aware of what exactly I'm talking about, and the deck code will be down below in case you guys want to try out this deck. So there's a lot of interesting things that come from this particular archetype. I absolutely love Celestial Alignment. I've said that a lot, and there's just a lot of ways of being able to build your own memes. So if you're also a memer that wants to build your own combo, look into Celestial Druid. You will have an amazing time looking at all the different possibilities that you have available to you. But that is going to do it for today's episode of Hearthstone Hypotheticals. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. And another reminder, if you haven't entered this giveaway, now is the time to do it. The links are down below, so you guys have all the access that you need in order to just literally like and retweet this, as well as subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this already, I'm hoping that you're already subscribed. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching today's video about the coolest combos in all of Hearthstone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's content, and you'll enjoy the content in the future. And we'll see you for the next video.